So it's me again. I'm waiting until my other video posts. And so like one of the companies I work for is obsessed with blackmail. And it's just really anxiety. That's really what it is. And it's more like white mail than blackmail, but I'm just like over here just annoying. And it's just like people just say stuff. And it's mostly because, people have freedom of speech, so they say stuff, and then you kind of like freak out, and then people feed into it, and some people really don't, and then those are really good people, but they're like, oh, okay, you're really having a difficult time, we'll leave you alone, but then there's other people like, ooh, she's freaking out, we're gonna get her to freak out more, which is technically blackmail, but I call it anxiety, just because you really can't do anything until it actually really does happen, it's good to and that's why I really like doctor appointments. I'm excited in a couple months I'll go and get my yearly exam, and I'm excited for that. And so my thing is when you get a sickness, and I'm extremely healthy. I act weird. Yeah, I'm weird, and I don't think I'm gonna ever it will never change. I've tried to change it and stuff. It's who I am. COVID happened and people really got messed up, but they really didn't. If you get educated, things make sense. But I'm really normal and healthy and whatever, but I'm weird. That's just who I am, and I will be weird for a really long time. And but so the thing is let's just pretend somebody gets diagnosed with something. People can tell you, oh, this is what you have, this is what you need to do. They can give you advice or suggestions and stuff like that, but you can't do anything until you go in, and see your doctor, and then the doctor's like, oh, okay, you might have that or you might not have it. Okay, let's look into it. It's not an investigation, and then they run diagnosis and stuff like that, and then they'll come back with the results. That's blackmail. But it's not, it's you don't know what you have until you get that piece of paper in your hands and you're like, oh, yep, this person has this. It's really scary until that happens. And even after you get that, you have to deal with it. You might have to go to court if it's not a doctor issue. You might have to do stuff like that. The issue is you have to take time off from work, and you lose money when you take time off from work, unless you have a really good company that will give you workman comp. But most companies nowadays don't care that much about employees, even though it costs a lot of money to hire them. I don't think people understand how much it costs to hire somebody. So if you're a intelligent company, you will spend more time trying to keep your employees than replacing them. But it's just getting diagnosed with something, or getting sued or whatever it is, there's nothing that you can really do about it until it happens. So it's just anxiety, and we need to learn how to self-reflect and calm ourselves and stuff like that. And we have to really choose on who we keep in our lives. There's people who have a pretty face and they're not that pretty inside. That big smile. But and then there's other people who don't have fake smiles, and they can be backwards or directly. So getting to know somebody is really important, and I don't think people understand spending time with somebody is huge. You can meet somebody, and really get to know them, but people change, and then they change back, and so over time, or over months or years or days or something, you can really get a grasp of knowing somebody, and people change, especially nowadays. It's interesting. And then you have to spend more time with them, you know, and you're like, oh, okay, this is really how they are, you know, or, oh, okay, this is how they are, like, so, like, that's another form of, we can call it blackmail, even though it's not blackmail, you know, it's just time, time and money, you know, and when you spend time with somebody, it's also money, you know, and it's not like direct money, you know, it's like, because you can use them as like a, so like, like if you're hanging out with somebody and they're like really good at like doing something, you can, like, I don't know how to explain it, but life is scary and people have anxiety, and sometimes you just need to self-reflect, and sometimes it's backwards, and sometimes sitting and self-reflecting is really bad because it's inverted and we need to turn it extroverted, so you have to like go the other way, but either way it's too exciting.